Welcome to Fables of the Fog, the least serious Dead by Daylight podcast on the internet. My name is EarthToLydia. I'm a very boosted survivor main.
I am Earthan, and I main Jake and Trapper.
I'm Nate. I'm a console player, and I play Jeff, the survivor, and I play Ghostface, the killer. And welcome to our podcast.
This is our corner of the internet where we share ridiculous stories and occasionally have others do the same thing.
So grab your blanket, get around that campfire, don't touch that hex perk, and we hope you enjoy your stay.
Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of Fables of the Fog. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different in comparison to the other 2 episodes that we've already put out. We're going to be talking more about the conversations you're going to be having with other players in the game. We're talking about Steam profile comments and console messages and stuff like that you're going to get as a result of playing this game. Because believe me, if you don't turn off that function, if you don't make it so that it's not physically possible, you are going to get some of these things. First of all, should we talk a little bit about our current stance on whether or not we partake, in the profile comments and everything? Because me personally, I don't normally have my profile comments turned on at all. I normally just keep it for friends only. They're the only people that can post on my profile. But what about you guys?
For me, I used to have them open because I was like, okay, I don't mind engaging in a conversation with people if they disagree with my playstyle or disagree with decisions I make. But then I just switched them off because friends can still comment on my profile. But since I stream anyways, I figured if someone is genuine and they're genuinely upset about the way I played or something I did in the game, then they could just hit up my stream and be like, hey, I don't necessarily agree with what you did, and we can have a discussion that way. So yeah. For me, it's like I don't partake, but I know some people do, and it can be pretty entertaining.
And Nate, I know it's a completely different ball game for console. If you want to get in touch with somebody that you played with after a game, you have to go directly into their PlayStation inboxing, don't you?
Yeah, from the end screen you can click on their name, and clicking on their name will then take you to the inbox of their message, and you can type your message and then obviously send it. And whilst obviously you have the Steam profile messages, you also have the endgame chat where we don't have that.
The endgame chat, that's the place where dreams go to die. I don't know, personally, I just don't really, I'm kind of in the same ballpark as Fanta here. So Fanta obviously said that he used to have his Steam profile comments made public. I've never had mine public, really. My profile was completely private at first, so nobody could see my comments or anything like that. I was just, I wasn't really exposed to multiplayer games, particularly not on Steam. I'd never played a multiplayer game on Steam before, so I just thought I have no need to have my profile public, so I'm just locking it off. Having said that, the past week, I've done a little bit of a social experiment, shall we say. I've deliberately turned on my profile comments and made them public, and I made pretty much every single game that I went into, I made my name -rep farmer, please leave me a -rep, leave a comment, smiley face, and I got next to nothing. I genuinely couldn't get a comment off anyone. I thought, what the hell? I see so many people who get really aggressive comments and everything after every game. Why the hell can't I get one? Even switched over to Killer for a bit and had a 4K as Myers with 4 gens left in the game, and still no salty comments. I got a fucking GG at the end of it.
I think for some people the etiquette is just say GG and move on. I know a lot of people, they have to get the last word in, but I feel like at the same time there are those people that are just GG. And especially from my past experiences, because I've kind of tried that before, if you put your name as something give me -reps, I just feel like people aren't going to do what you want, and then just be yeah, whatever, this guy's looking for some sort of negative or -reps or whatever, we're not going to give him what he wants or her what she wants, so people shy away from giving comments for that reason.
Have you guys ever personally gone to somebody's inbox or their profile comments and left a comment out of pure rage or anything for a stranger? Nate, I feel like this is your time to take the spotlight. What have you done? Enlighten us.
Okay. So, look. I can explain.
I'm ready for the worst explanation.
Right. So, in my infancy of the game, I was swayed by a certain someone that all of us kind of know, and it was more of the fact that when you got pissed off at someone doing something, they'd camp you, they'd tongue you, and you're like, for fuck's sake, I've had enough of this shit, right? And you just go into their inbox and you type something fucking that you think is as smart as shit, and you're laughing your ass off, right? So I didn't know you actually had to turn the function on properly. So I was sending messages to people and receiving nothing back.
So they weren't actually sending?
No, they were sending to them. I just didn't get any back.
Oh, because you you didn't have your messages open. Oh my gosh.
Right. So I've probably got like 7 fucking people from like the first year and a half that I played DBD calling me a fucking twat, like that I've never ever seen. Like some of my classic ones are like, "Are you a fan of Friday the 13th? Because that camp is legendary."
Oh my gosh. Do you have any more examples? I really want a story time session around the campfire.
Have you ever been to Dartford? Because you'll love the tunnel there. It's stuff that like you say and you're like, I'm a fucking funny wanker, and then you look back at you like a year later and you're like, I was a fucking twat, weren't I? What the fuck am I doing? Like, now I'm semi-wholesome. If I message someone, it's sort of like either constructive criticism or replying, because like I now have it open. Hey, come leave me some salt. I will leave my PS in our outro. There was a game the other day where we had a Claudette, and this Claudette had a map, and we were against the Legion with Ruin. So this red map allows you to see stuff on the actual map, right? So you can see totems, you can see everything. And what went through my head was, okay, you've got a map, you can see everything in this game. You can find the totem and you can break it. Why the fuck haven't you?
Why haven't you done that yet?
After it finished, I was sort of like, so you have a map, you're not using it, you can see totems. No Ruin means she gets no real pressure. It's Legion. As soon as you break Ruin, we can gen rush the shit out of her. It's just smart plays sometimes that I get angry at. I'll get angry, but I won't message people. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go, oh, for fuck's sake, like, and sit here myself and like whine to fucking whoever I'm playing with. But then, like, if there are times where I'm iffy and I'm like, you know what? You did tunnel me. I'm gonna tell you that you tunneled me, but I'm still gonna say GG. I'm gonna be nice and go, you tunneled me, bit of a shit, can't move, but good game, hope you have fun in your next one. And by that, I mean, up yours, fuck you, and I hope that you're not having fun. I hope you want to uninstall the game. And
I hope your connection goes down forever.
I hope behaviour ban you. So,
My dad works at behavior, you're getting banned.
Oh my gosh, the classic. The classic.
I also want to touch on something. So, you know, I play with my group of friends sometimes. We all know one of my group of friends is a twat. We'll leave it a twat, right? We won't drop him in it, but he knows who he is. Now, he's not messaging people anymore. He's starting to report them for tunneling under the fucking market of harassment.
Suddenly just means the killer likes you. I don't know why he thinks it's harassment.
So he's like going, this killer's harassed me. Right? not telling behaviour wise, just going, yeah, he's harassed me. Right? So
violating the terms of his restraining order. Can't stand it.
He's getting tunnelled and going, yeah, harassment. Report him for harassment. I'm like, oh, I've got tunnelled. Report him. No, I'm not going to report him.
Oh my gosh.
That has to be a first. I've never heard of someone wanting to report the killer for tunneling but under harassment. I might start doing that. Holy shit, that's such a great idea. Why didn't I think of this before?
As Nate mentioned a second ago as well, as PC players, we do have something as well called the endgame chats, which is basically where you can just text chat to other people that have been part of the game. If anybody playing on console wasn't aware of that. But yeah, so that tends to be the place where things get pretty heated at the end of the game. But I mean, going to somebody's profile and leaving a comment, that is just a whole other level of anger, I feel. Yeah, what kind of stuff did you used to get, Fanta? What kind of examples have you had of people that have been angry?
I'm like a couple up right here. So I got called a camper and tunneler. This is before they made the endgame collapse changes, so you had to complete 2 generators to even get the hatch to spawn. If I read one out here, it goes minus rep, noob killer pig, so you know who I was playing, camping and tunneling so bad. Well, my initial response to him was, you say that, you didn't do a single generator, you wouldn't have had the hatch spawn anyways. And then I asked him if I was tunneling tunneling, why didn't all the gens get done? And then basically this guy spammed my profile with like noob and just like all insults and stuff. So I was like, okay, clearly he's got some built up anger and frustration. He wants to let it all out.
Yep.
But yeah, I was just like, okay, but if I was tunneling, as you said, which even though I wasn't, because I remember that game where basically two people had bear traps. I was chasing someone else, put a bear trap on him, and then chased the other person because they were doing a generator in front of me as I downed the other person. So I was like, okay. And then obviously the other teammates had active timers and they weren't able to do anything without getting them off. And apparently I was camping and tunneling. The worst one was I was apparently tunneling non-helmet survivors. Like, what do I am I supposed to tunnel the people with helmets now? What is this? Like, that's probably the funniest and worst one. Here's another great one. I've been called a camper because one person's running around. I can hear them breathing. Yes, I'm looking at you, Claudette, with loud ass breathing. I can hear you running behind me as I'm carrying the survivor to a hook, and I see another survivor. So at that point, I know one person on the hook, two people around the hook, and I'm called a camper and tunneler because these guys keep repeatedly vaulting a nearby window, and I know they're there. And in the end, they make bad mistakes, and I get them easy pressure, and they're like, bad killer must camp and patrol the hook just so that they can get an easy 4K. I was like, if you're saying it's an easy 4K, why aren't you doing anything to stop me, you know? I played Dead by Daylight for nearly 6,000 hours, and I've had some pretty funny endgame chats and some pretty funny Steam profile comments. I just ended up removing a lot of them because I was just like, people just don't even want to engage in a conversation. They say something, you explain your side of the story, then you ask them a question. It's like when you're playing Survivor and killers complain about Gen Rush and you ask the killer what do they expect the survivor to do and vice versa. It's like, I removed a lot of them. Touching over what Lydia said about the end game chat as well, I feel like the end chat is restricted to 5 people, whereas a Steam profile, anyone who clicks on it can view it, so it's multiple people, many people. I think people just post a Steam profile out of rage, and then secondly to supposedly build them a reputation. But then it gets really confusing when the Steam profile is filled with plus and minus reps, so you don't know what to believe.
Yeah. It's like, really wholesome survivor, very much appreciated this, and the next one, minus rep, brought in a key. Anyway, I do have an example that I do want to throw out there, and I'm going to give full credit to Jay for saying this one because this just absolutely sticks out in my mind as one of the best profile comment responses I've ever experienced. So we were all playing in a game together against this pretty notorious spirit main.
Oh.
You already know who I'm talking about, Fancy. You already know. Yeah.
I know.
She likes to play Shaman Spirit, so she's playing with like Thrill of the Hunt, Ruin, Haunted Grounds, and Devout Hope as well. So, and this is back before the Ruin changes as well. It's, red skill check Ruin. But basically, because she's got Thrill of the Hunt, every single time that anybody tried to cleanse her Devour Hope totem, because she's already gotten stacks on it, she's just going to go up as well, because she's got prayer beads as well. Let's not forget that. She's got pre-reworked prayer beads. She's just going to go up and grab them off the totem. And honestly, it's one of the most boring play styles to play against. I'm sorry if anybody plays like that, but it's fucking boring. Anyway, so my friend who we're playing with, this is Jay, aka Roific on Twitter. He's, like I said, he's got full credit for this. He basically DC'd from the game because she was slugging everyone. All of your totems are still up, you're grabbing people off the totem, and she's slugging everyone. So he DC'd, and then she goes to his profile and she leaves a comment that's like, minus rep, DC rage quit or something like that, and then puts, you must make really great Twitch content, smiley face. So he then goes to her profile and leaves a comment in response, and it says, minus rep, sweaty spirit main, hasn't seen daylight in 15 years, smells like beef. It's
like beef.
Exactly. It's just like the best response. But she never responded to that. Anyway.
Wonder why.
I love how Fanta said as well about the whole, building up a reputation thing by leaving a bunch of minus reps on a profile. Mine have absolutely zero context whatsoever. None. I don't even know what these are about. One of them says, the minute you use a flashlight, I will minus rep you. And then the same guy next comment says, minus rep, found a key in game and used it for the hatch. Report this player, please. That is it.
How dare you?
That is
You found in a game. Like, holy shit.
Where's the other one that I was finding? Oh yeah, another one here says minus rep, toxic jingler, make sure to Mori on site. I'm talking to you, mister. I check profiles before readying killer main. Mori this one and say it's my fault. Merry Christmas and God bless, love heart. Plus rep kills her own teammates and makes the game easier for me, a killer main. Again, I don't know the context for this. These are during my time as well where I made my profile comments completely public. I kept on, basically I did a drunk stream in the middle of all this, and I was like spamming the endgame chat with killer, please leave a minus rep. Remember to leave a minus rep. And one guy put minus rep because he asked me. And then the next guy put minus rep, very rude, smiley face. Okay. I honestly think I'd take a minus rep over a plus rep any day, personally.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. The likelihood is that like the minus rep's going to be more entertaining to read.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I found one on my Steam profile. Minus rep. He always gets tunneled no matter what.
I have a brilliant one here. It says, minus rep decides to exit the game when the killer has no ed and it was cleansed not long after they left.
So, minus rep for getting the fuck out of there and making smart decisions, yeah?
Yep,
Fair.
yep. Yep. Oh, another one as well. Sorry, I just have to get this last one in. It says, minus rep reported to behavior, expect to be banned in an hour. Oh gosh, I love it.
So everyone out there kind of knows I play Ghostface. One of the best perks on Ghostface you can have is Nurse's Calling, because it's so easy to drop terror radius and catch someone out healing. So I'm in a game and I hook this thing in, walk around for a little bit, break a couple of pallets, kick a couple of gens, can't find anyone. I'll go back to Hook, you know, they're making a save, I'll take down the person that's saving. Get back, Fengmin's already been pulled off, it's hidden behind a tree. David, running to a safe loot that I know that the pallet is still up on. Me, with nurses, sees Feng Min out the corner of my eye. Down Feng Min, goes to myself, right, I'm going to pick her up, give myself a bit of pressure, trigger tremors. Do that, expect decisive. Decisive is not there, I put her back on Hook, I walk away again. Do the same thing, kick a couple of gens, break a couple of pallets, come back. Jane pulls her off, pretty much in front of me. I hit the Jane goes in front, stops in front of the Feng Min, so the Feng Min cannot fucking get out. So I swing, hit the Feng Min again, and just go, fuck it, I'll get you out of the game, love. Easy, just easy pressure, get him up. And the messages that came next.
Oh gosh.
You would not believe.
Oh gosh, go on.
You tunnel. Oh, why are you tunneling, right? And then I go to her and I make my point. You're behind a tree. I have nurses. I'm not going to just let you heal so everyone resets and cost me my time and pretty much win you the game free. And then she pretty much goes, oh, I bet you think you're a real killer. You think this is real life. I bet you think you're killing real people. And I'm like, whoa, hold up, yeah. Sure, you make the point, right? I was in chase, right? But if he's running to a safe loot that I know we haven't been to, I haven't kicked the pallet on that jungle gym. That's safe. I'm not going to waste that time. I'm going to go and get pressure. Oh, but you're not making it fun for me. I'm a fucking killer, mate. It's not meant to be like tickle time at the factory. It's fucking survival of the fittest.
Yeah,
oh.
Nate's like, just because my PSN name is set to Ted Bundy doesn't mean anything.
Fucking hell.
Doesn't mean I think I'm a killer, alright?
Like, she's calling me a noob killer for fucking downing her while hiding behind a tree, right?
Yeah.
I'm the noob, yeah? Me!
You do seem to get, I think most of the aggression that you get in like endgames and stuff like that, or like obviously on profile comments, inboxes, whatever it is, I think most of the aggression comes from people that do not understand how you have seen the game. Like it could be whether it's, you know, from the killer point of view and they're like, oh my gosh, everybody gen rushed me so hard, and it's like, no, you didn't apply any pressure to any gens. Or it's a case of, it's a survivor main and they've gone, oh, you tunneled, you did this, you did that, and you're using wall hacks. Like, I had a game recently, oh gosh, this is just the weirdest turnabout plot ever. I still kind of don't understand what went on, but basically I played a game where I was doing that spirit challenge, the one where you've got to kill all 4 survivors. And me personally, anybody who knows me knows that I hate Spirit. I hate Spirit with a passion. I don't like playing her. I don't like playing against her. I think she's boring. I've done since day one. So I had to play like 5 games of Spirit to try and do this challenge. And the last person would always get out through the hatch, and it really pissed me off. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing the scummy thing. I don't care. I'm bringing in an Ebony Mori. I'm like, I do not care. I'm getting this challenge done. I'm sick of it. I want my tome 100%, and then we're good. So I brought in a Mori, and as you can probably guess, I got to Mori all of them. I fully, from a survivor main point of view, thought I'm preparing for the rage here. I'm preparing for it. And the rage came, but not for the Mori. No, not for the Mori, because this rank 15 that was in my lobby, and that's nothing about rank 15s, not saying nothing for them, but he obviously didn't understand my point of view, because he said, "You're using wall hacks! How did you know where I was for every part of the game?" I was like, I'm using barbecue and I'm using bitter murmur. I'm using both of those perks so I could see your aura quite a bit. And he was angry. I was like, look, I'm really sorry about the Mori. I don't like going against it. I know how shit it is. I'm just doing it for a challenge. Like, I'm really sorry that you were the guys on the other side of it. Nope. The rage kept on coming. Then he was like, well, you tunneled. I was like, when did I tunnel though? And he was like, the guy that you got at the start of the game, you tunneled him. I was like, oh, the guy that I hooked once at the very start of the game, and then he was the last person that I killed. Okay. Yeah, no, that's not how tunneling works. Because I'd hooked every single person and then gone back to that guy. And yeah, this guy was crying about, me being a tunneler and everything, and I just politely explained everything to him. And then at the end of it, he ended up adding me on Steam, and he was like, I'm sorry, you're actually really nice, and you put up with me being really toxic. I'm sorry about that. Do you want to join my Discord? So we're friends now. But yeah, that's quite the plot twist, not gonna lie. Quite the plot twist. But yeah, I do just think personally that a lot of these profile comments and stuff and messages just come from people that are maybe a bit misguided, or they're just extremely angry about injustice. I don't know. I guess for some people they see it as like a form of like just outburst. They need to get something off their chest. But again, part of the reason of like this like kind of toxic behavior we have in the game is because you have people, I'm not saying from one side, I'm saying this is from both, that when they lose or when they die or when they don't get or when they depip, they have to find someone else or something else in the game or in terms of like mechanics. Have to find a flaw in something else in order to kind of give that as a kind of scapegoat. If people were able to just accept the reason that they either died as first as a survivor or they didn't catch anyone as killer, I feel like it would be a much better kind of environment. But I feel like a lot of people, I don't know if egotistical would be the correct word, but if they die, it's like it's everyone else's fault but their own, and they just can't accept that. I feel like that's why it doesn't really affect me that much, because usually because I do have bad games, the only time I really get mad is when people are using hacks, and it's not even like the fact that someone's outplaying you, it's the fact that you're not going to be able to win because people are cheating to get an unfair advantage. But whenever I have a bad game, I just look at like what happened in the game and what I could do differently next time to avoid the same situation. And if a lot of people did that, I feel like there'd be a lot less toxicity surrounding the game. That's just my opinion anyway. I definitely agree with that.
I agree with Fanta, but like, I also want to put out there that you get people like survivors that are gonna complain and call tunnel because they've just got off of the hook. You're halfway across the map and they run into you. What do you want me to do? Would you like me to look at you and go, hello, and let you walk away? Like, what do you want? Do you want me to like stare at you from a distance and go, yeah, you're going for a gen? No problems, love. Off we go. Right? No, I'm gonna hit you. Easy pressure. Like, don't be an idiot and think I'm gonna let you walk away free. If one, I've done fuck all to camp you or be near you, and then you walk into me. Cry tunnel all you want. Cry tunnel all you want. But I know that, like, if you're walking around a corner and I haven't seen you since I've hooked you, and you're still injured, I'm not gonna look at you and go, yeah, you get a free pass, off you go. That's a bit, like, come on.
They're asking you to not play the game at that point.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
And that's another thing actually, because like it'll get those people that then post comments on your profile saying that you tunneled, when in fact you're making a decision within your best interest. The other role is gonna make the decisions that's in their best interest. If you're playing killer and a survivor's gonna complain about tunneling, for example, when you're just downing them and doing something else, maybe like how about from the survivor's point of view, think about what they could have done differently. So for example, if a survivor is on the hook, they get unhooked, the person that rescues them walks away, the person who was on the hook sprints away, obviously the killer is going to go after the person that sprints, because that's going to a definite location where a survivor is, versus maybe a survivor is over there. Unless the killer actively sees the person that unhooked, even if they're walking away, survivors are going to complain about that. Maybe think about what like survivors can do, like maybe they can walk away, maybe if they're on comms with someone, maybe they can say, oh, can you stay around, and maybe take the aggro. But no, for a lot of survivors it's, oh, I got hooked, I got down, blame the killer again, it's their fault, they can fuck off, they shouldn't fucking play the game. It's kind of stupid.
Another thing that I kind of briefly wanted to touch on as well is I feel like there's an awful lot of stigma around whether or not you've got your inbox messages or your profile comments enabled, because I've had quite a few people, and I don't know how I feel about this. I've heard quite a few people saying like, oh, if you don't have your profile comments turned on, then you're just a wuss. You're just not prepared for what's coming, or like you'll delete your comments or whatever it is. And it's just like, you know what? If people don't want to have their comments turned on, don't turn them on.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, a big pissing contest and who's got the best profile comments or anything like that. At the end of the day, if you don't want to turn them on, then don't turn them on. I've not had my profile comments turned on, not because I'm scared of what the big bad killers are going to say about me, but because, I don't want to. Like, I can't be asked going into my settings and changing it. That's about it. Fanta, what's your reason for turning yours off?
All right, well, like I mentioned before, I actually do stream, and there's no secret, I do play Dead by Daylight a lot. And to me, the way I look at it is, if I'm playing a game, this is specifically for if I'm streaming at the time, if you don't agree with my play style, and you know that I'm live, you can come to my stream and you can talk to me, which is the way I prefer it, because first off, you put the comment down, and like if I don't look at my Steam comment for like hours upon end, then I'm not gonna remember, okay, this guy got mad over this specific game over something I did. I'm gonna forget. I'm a human being. Secondly, the way I look at it is, if someone is genuine about wanting a discussion and wanting to see my point of view, they will actually take the time to check out the stream, and they will also like engage in a conversation. I actually streamed the other day, I think it was on Sunday. There was quite a few people, actually 2 people at least, got mad because I was playing Pig, and what I was doing was to get some extra pressure, if I was walking past a pig box and someone was searching their box through that and it was active, I would just smack them down, because obviously what we would do is it would cause a survivor that either has an active bear trap or inactive bear trap, or someone who's like not got a bear trap at all, they'll get off and they'll come and help out, which essentially get a little bit more gen pressure from me, because if I'm using ruin, then the generator will automatically regress. If I'm not, or it's broken, I can kick the generator. But yeah, it got to the end of the game where basically I did slug someone for like half their bleed out timer, but that was literally because I didn't want to hook them, because I knew they would be wasting time getting their helmet back off once they're back up on their feet. And secondly, I wanted to just waste time and get the survivors off objectives, which essentially gave me more control. And then they just came into stream and they used like really derogatory things. Like, I welcome any and all people. They were mentioning their age, and let's just say the age or the numbers that they were using, they shouldn't even be on Twitch or shouldn't even be watching Dead by Daylight. And then I said my point of view and danced on it. And eventually what it came down to was like I had to block them on stream. And then they did end up getting one of their friends who kept saying like, oh, you should unblock and they're sorry. But like, usually I give people the benefit of the doubt, but when you come in and when I'm explaining my point of view, you're using really derogatory terms, it may not have affected me, but if I have a viewer and someone says something which insults them, I take that very seriously. I want everyone to be welcoming, and I don't want people to feel like their life choices and their opinions and stuff doesn't matter. And then it just got to a point where I was explaining it. They were just, to put it into context, they were like a certain word beginning with H. I'm not going to mention that out, and a certain word beginning with T, and they got blocked, and I refused to. And they kept like messaging. And it was the other thing. I actually took a screenshot because I was looking at the viewer list, and one of them changed their name to a very amusing name, which was like something, please unban me. And
oh my gosh.
but like, I again, I won't go into the context, but they wrote their age, so they changed their name on Twitch to not this age, unban me. And I was like, okay. Which, like, again, it's like going back to the whole thing. I have my comments off for that reason. If I'm streaming and you disagree with my playstyle, you can come into stream and you can talk to me, and I'll explain why I did what I did. I've had people like say, "Oh, you're camping and tunneling and stuff." And here's the other thing: when they've escaped as well. When I've been reasonably fair and people still complain, I've like had people be like, "Oh, you're a shit killer" and all, which doesn't really bother me because I don't go into every single killer game expecting a 4K or expecting a double pip, so that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I just play to have fun. But if you're gonna want to contest something, whether that's my playstyle or something I say, at least have something like hard evidence, or at least have something reasonable or to contribute to a discussion. I'm not one of those people who's like, okay, you don't have my opinion, I don't care. If you have a different opinion to me, that's fine. But I feel like a lot of the time people just struggle to approach a conversation like that, and the fact that I feel like a lot of people, especially in the DVD community, they'll usually like, they're afraid to get into discussions with people because heaven help if they be made like look like an idiot. But for that reason, I just like, I just try to keep them off. If people are genuine and want to discuss, they'll come to me and talk to me, but not many people do. And when they do, it's usually like, okay, they insult me, which pretty much proves my point that that you could have done something, however you need to insult me. At that point, I just take the moral high ground. It's the best way, in my opinion.
We're getting very close to the end of the timer, but do you guys want to hear one last funny comment?
Hell yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay, get ready for this one. Hey, sorry, I saw your profile and I just thought you looked cute in your picture. I really wanted to tell you that. It's really rare to see girls playing video games. Haha! Exclamation mark. I don't know why it's a guy thing, honestly. I'm like really against misogyny, and like I'll be the one in the kitchen making sandwiches. We should really play Left 4 Dead 2 sometime. It's a really cool zombie game with a lot of scary moments. But don't worry, I'll be there to protect you. Winky face. Sorry, that wasn't flirting. I swear, I'm just trying to be friendly. I really like your profile picture. Sorry, was that too far? Question mark. Really sorry. I'm really shy. I don't go out much. Haha, add me on Skype. We should talk. You look really nice and fun. XXX minus rep. Copy pastas honestly are like the best kind of profile comment in my personal opinion. I think they're amazing. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys so much for making it this far and for listening to this episode. You can catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EarthToLydia, or I do post comment on my YouTube channel as well, which is just, if you're watching on YouTube right now, it's this channel, but if you're listening from Spotify, it's youtube.com/user/EarthToLydia.
You can check me out on Twitch at Earthfan98, but instead of the A, you have the 4. I stream a few times a week, so come hang out. And if you want to ask questions about Killer or Survivor, I'll try and help out as best as I can.
And if you want to leave him a profile comment, go to his stream.
Yeah, do that too.
Nate, where are we finding you at?
My PSN is Nathan James 6661. All one word. If you'd like to come and roast me, please do so. Give us more content for this podcast. We need it. Additionally, you can find me on Twitter at NateJames666, and also in the EarthToLydia Discord channel, where every Thursday we do have a little general chat and we hang out together. And you can ask me any questions about any of the podcasts that you have listened to, whether it be this topic or next topic. And also, remember, in this hard time where everyone is stuck in their homes, be kind to each other, love each other. Don't get angry at each other because of a video game, because everyone's having a shit day too. We love you.
Bye.
Bye. See you later, you cheeky animals.
Fuck off!